This time last week, something very, very interesting happened down in 10 Downing Street that has not happened, well, for quite some considerable time. The Conservatives for the past couple of years have constantly talked about how they want to level up, how they want to do these, wonderful things, and they've given the North devolved governments, or at least devolved, regional mayoralships, which would help fund investment, etc., etc. But oh no, they've all been taken by Labour candidates. There are only two sort of strongholds that you had, of course, Ben Houchen, and of course you had Birmingham. Birmingham has gone. Andy Street lost his seat. If Ben Houchen had lost his seat as well, oh boy, there would have been a massive panic. But remember, Ben Houchen and that regional mayoralship, he has staked once again his entire mayoralship on that Freeport. And constituencies and constituents in that area have started to say, well, hold on, all you are focusing is on this Freeport. What about all these other problems? What about, bringing bus ownership back into sort of, local ownership like we're seeing in other regional mayoralships? Ben Houch is like, oh, no, we can't do that. We're focusing on the Freeport. We're focusing on the Freeport, guys. It's all about the Freeports. But it really does seem, or at least from some of the stuff we've heard coming out from there, is that the feeling is from Houchen and his team, they've only got maybe one more roll at the dice, and that they've got to try and get this Freeport up and running as quickly as they possibly can, and then start to show the benefits to the region. If not, then they may not, shall we say, be so kind at the next election. And especially now, there's Ben Houchen has a lot more Labour MPs all of a sudden in that area as well, who also probably going to be paying a lot more attention to what is going on at that Freeport. So, in what must be a single act of desperation, Ben Houchen surprisingly went down to this meeting at 10 Downing Street on Monday with all the other regional mayors. All the Labour mayors came out, massive smiles on their face, saying what an amazing conversation they had. That this was a new dawn for like devolution, that they were going to get sort of talked about the things that they could do and how they could sort of work together, and that this was amazing that they've never had these types of conversations before, and it's wonderful to sort of finally have them, that they felt stuff could finally be moving. And then you get Ben Houchen, and Ben Houchen is like, well, it was a good meeting, but downtrodden truly. But out of nowhere, Ben Houchen has now come out and written a letter to what is dubbed, not at a particular candidate for the next Tory leadership election, but almost as if it's directed to all the potential leadership candidates. But as we've said before, I think at the moment, this is an open shut case. I think it's going to be Kemi Badenoch. I really do. At this moment in time, I think this is Kemi Badenoch's race to lose. Like, unless something happens, I see she's pretty much already won it. It's hers to win at this point. If she gets to the final two, she walks it. The membership will vote for her en masse. We've seen the polls, what they've been like for some time. It's hers to win. So he might as well have written this to Kemi Badenoch, because it certainly does seem she is, of course, going to be the winner. And of course, we talked about that and her problems last video. So if you want to go and watch that, go give that a watch. But on to Ben Houchen's letter, because this is kind of interesting about what he hopes will, of course, go through Tory leadership contest, and of course what he wants from the next Tory leadership. But before we go getting into that, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the One Off Station link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, as always, the YouTube thank you button, the Pony Club, and of course, thank you very much to everyone who does help. Like I say, click and support those things, and of course, you can always click on the like or share button. So, as always, let's crack on then into this. Not too surprisingly, of course, written to Conservative Home, because as I keep on telling you, this has a reach out to the non-parliamentary party. This is why Ben Houchen is writing for this, because he's hoping to somewhat play into the Tory leadership contest. Be very interesting to see how an active role he participates in this, especially as he is the only Conservative regional mayor. He might have, or shall we say, this really does seem to be a pitch to these candidates saying, I'm not declared for anyone yet, but if you would like to declare for me, or you say you want my support, these are the things I'd like to see. So yeah, you can see why he's written this letter. This is his begging letter in many cases. Or if you want my support, this is what you have to do. So let's get into this. So this is Ben Houchen's My Open Letter to the Leadership Hopefuls. For the sake of the party and nation, focus on the future. Dear candidate, he starts, as we embark on a journey of selecting our new leader for the Conservative Party, I am writing to share my thoughts on how we can ensure that this leadership contest starts the firing gun our return to competent government based on the foundational Conservative values rather than leading us on an extended stray into the political wilderness fueled by ideology. Good luck there, Houchen. Bear in mind, Houchen here has realized something that has been a fundamental problem with the Conservative Party. Shockingly enough, Ben Houchen has said, yeah, we're a bit too fundled and obsessed with our ideology. We never really focused on competence. Quote, foundational Conservative values, whatever those might be. Like I say, depending on what Conservative asking, they can change like the wind. So, whatever. But at least he has identified something that no other Conservative has been able to say, which was that ideology that we have been following has been a significant problem. But that ain't gonna happen. Oh, that ain't gonna happen, especially if, as I really do think they're gonna end up electing Kimmy Badenoch. So back to this. He continues, recently, there have been very worrying instances that suggest that the potential of our leadership contest to evolve into a fractious, personal, divisive event. Yes, that that is going to happen. It's not a worry. No, that is going to happen. Like, it is going to be a thing to watch. Like you say, go out, buy your popcorn now, because honestly, you will run out. This is going to be an event of the century where they tear into each other, tooth and claw. But oh boy, it is going to be hilarious to watch. So this now would reflect very poorly on the individuals involved, but also on the Conservative Party as a whole. Again, just shockingly, Ben Houchen, of all people, saying, guys, we've got a bit of a problem of we're too ideologically fixed in the party. And, if we do have a very, very, fractional civil war, which they are in at the moment, Ben Houchen hasn't admitted that, but they are in a civil war at the moment. We've seen that activate in a way, in many ways. They are in that. He is bringing up the fact, if we go this, if we do this, if we fight, this is not going to make us look good at all. Too little, too late, Ben. That's been happening for quite a while now, and you didn't really seem to be calling for party unity when your party was in power. But there you go. It is critical that during this period we demonstrate unity, respect, and a commitment to positive discourse. This is what a country expects, and I therefore kindly request you, as a candidate, to pledge to conduct yourself and your campaign in a manner that reflects these ideals. I have to wonder now whether this is actually Ben Houchen writing this. And bear in mind, I'm not saying that this is like being ghostwritten or anything like that. I am thinking Ben Houchen has been asked to write this because of the last week we had, where it was just non-stop, conservative civil warring. I have to think if this has been written in a very, very vain hope that they won't start fighting. But the Conservative Party, as we've been saying for the longest time now, has been headed in this direction. There is no way are they going to not fracture and go into a fight over this. The very idea that they do not descend into a fractious civil war is ludicrous. It's ludicrous to think, because they have gotten to this point because they have been setting up those conditions, been like that for ages, and none of them has even dared to take any of the reins and sort of try and stop this. But this, Ben, and maybe the other Conservatives pushing Ben Houchen to sort of write this, too little, too late. Really, too little, too late. So anyway, he continues. It says, by obviously focusing on policies and future direction and the benefit for our constituents, we can create the kind of constructive and inspiring campaign that will form the blueprint for our journey back to being a competent and credible political force. What does he say? So I would encourage you to sign a positive pledge too. So this is what he wants people to do. First of all, point 1, focus on the future. Commit to discussing and debating ideas that enhance the future of the Conservative Party and our country, steering clear of personal attacks and negative campaigning. Good luck on that. Focus on rebuilding trust with the public and demonstrating that we are a competent government in waiting. Good luck for that, because that ain't going to happen. Oh boy, that ain't going to happen. Number 2, reject the blue on blue attacks. You already sort of said that a moment ago, but okay. Promise not to engage in attacks against fellow Conservative Party members and be leadership contenders, other politicians, fostering a spirit of unity and maturity. Nope, but that ain't going to happen. Have you seen Kimi Badnock? Have you seen Suella Braverman? This idea that they are not going to attack each other, because trust me, in this leadership debate, which, bear in mind, might start off very, very humble and respectful, the second any blood gets drawn or any weakness gets sensed, all on, trust me, it will devolve very, very fast. And then this is the final one. For point 3, reject the Reform Party. Publicly pledge to reject the simplistic and shallow politics of Reform UK and commit to building a Conservative Party rooted in core Conservative values. Additionally, pledge not to form an electoral pact with Reform. So that, I think, really, really cements this has not been written by Ben Houchen. Or should we say, Ben Houchen is not the one, shall we say, writing this alone. This has been, I think, put forward by Ben Houchen and other, I would say, Conservatives who have realized ideology is a bit of a problem. The fact that we are going to descend into a civil war. This is the last chance for peace. But I will say this now. This last chance for peace is not going to happen. The Conservative Party has been set up like a massive Jenga tower for a civil war. And it only is going to take a couple more bricks to be removed. The whole thing will come crashing down. So he continues, in my recent article in the Sunday Times, I highlighted the importance of rebuilding trust with the public. How are you going to do that? Like, I genuinely would love to see how, like, the Conservatives are going to rebuild trust with the public. Like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to restore trust in that? Because bear in mind, trust with the public. How about all that stuff going on at the Freeport, Ben? You know, doesn't really seem to be restoring trust in public when you aren't, should we say, that openly and forthcoming with what's been going on at the Freeport. But there you go. Anyway, he continues. Fundamentally, the reason why we were rejected at the ballot box was not related to our values, but because we are not seen as being a competent outfit for government. Nothing there about our policies or anything like that. No. We were just rejected because we weren't seen as a competent outfit for government. Once again, certainly is one of the reasons why lots of people want the Tories gone. But policies, still not taking responsibility for 14 years of being in power and the policies they implemented. Anyway, he continues, as a party, we lost our sharpness and our edge. We have lost our reputation as the party that gets things done. And in all honesty, we have lost the trust of the people who matter, the great British public. Nobody has the right to power. And after 14 years, we need to reflect on this. And reflect on it, they will not. We've seen all the articles from just the past week of what went wrong. This almost does fit into this. This really does sort of fit into these articles. But reflect on 14 years of, power. The Conservatives will not. They will not. They are incapable of doing so. So he continues, this leadership contest is now an opportunity to demonstrate our commitment to these principles and to prove that we are capable of effectively delivering for the country. A campaign that descends into chaos and infighting will not only risk our internal unity, but also our public image, extending our time in opposition. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen, Ben. That's exactly what's going to happen. It is going to descend into chaos and infighting. And even after you get that new leader, that infighting, that chaos will not stop. Because if it's Kimmy Badenoch, as we mentioned last video, she will be a massive target because Kimmy Badenoch has not made a lot of friends in the Conservative Party. She's got a lot of frenemies, shall we say. And frenemies do not make the best ally because one moment they will be your friends, but if they sense any weakness or any opportunity to, shall we say, knock her off the top spot, those friendly smiles will suddenly turn into smiles of laughter and delight as they enjoy pushing her off the top pole, just as every single other Conservative leader going back to, well, David Cameron in many ways. This is how long the problem has been going on for. Do they even realize that? No, they don't. And it's incredibly shocking that they can't, because they are just so incapable of really looking at themselves and asking some hard questions. Now, I will say this, it's the first time we've had a Conservative saying, oh, actually, ideology. Okay, Ben gets a point for mentioning that, but what ideology? What exactly is the problem with this ideology? You see, once again, not capable of really delving into the problem, but there you go. But it would be interesting because I think Ben Houchen will be probably participating certainly a lot on the sidelines of a Conservative civil war, but as a campaigner calling for peace. Please, guys, please Meanwhile, of course, the Conservative Civil War will be raging and no one will be wanting peace. Anyway, so by contrast, he says, a dignified and positive leadership contest will now rebuild our credibility and appeal to the broader electorate, showing that we are prepared to lead with integrity and foresight. Again, how are you going to rebuild this credibility? What do you mean? What are you going to do to do that? A leadership contest like that doesn't really apply to the broader public, nor are they going to be that interested. Because remember, you're in opposition. People aren't going to care about the Conservative leadership contest because you are not in power. Except for, for people like me who are just going to love to watch the chaos and the infighting that you guys are going to descend into. But, there you go. So back to this. So what I have seen from 3 elections I have fought and won in Teesside is that most voters are not wedded to a political colour. They are certainly not versed in the historic ideological debates of the Conservative Party. They are hardworking pragmatists who simply ask that their leaders are competent, attached to reality, and are able to deliver tangible things that improve their daily, day-to-day lives. You mean like your Freeport? But there you go. So this obviously now both provides a challenge to get our party into shape and to try and perform this in a way, but also it is an opportunity that the voters that we lost can absolutely be regained. Good luck, because you've actually got to offer them something to be regained. And what are you going to offer them to do that? Bear in mind, kind of funny again, because David Gork also wrote something today in Conservative Home where he's like, okay, guys, Labour are bringing in planning reform. We were in for 14 years. We failed to do any planning reform whatsoever. We recognize that, we need to not only build more houses, more infrastructure, everything we need to build more. We failed in that, and we should not get in the way of that. We cannot be NIMBYs about it. We should be supporting the building of houses, infrastructure, etc., because we failed to do it. Interesting that he wrote, such a thing like that, but there you go. So anyway, let's finish this off. So I look forward to hearing your commitment to these pledges and, of course, seeing a positive campaign that helps us rebuild the Conservative Party based on our shared committed values. Thank you for considering this request. I don't think anyone's going to pay attention to it, Ben. I don't think anyone's going to pay attention to it. Together, let's ensure that this leadership contest serves as a testament to our party, ensuring the principles of commitment to our country's future. Again, no one's going to pay attention to this, Ben. It's already been decided. This is civil war. This is open fractional warfare. Certainly, Kimi Badenoch and Sola Braverman have already pretty much dedicated last week to that. And trust me, it will go into full recrimination because, bear in mind, so far, really, when you look at it, there's only Tom Tugendhat that wasn't a member of the last government. And if you want to sort of, show your street cred, yeah, you're going to attack Rishi Sunak, but you've also got to attack people who are in government. Soil Braverman is going to do that. Absolutely, she's going to do that. People are going to bring up Kimi Badenoch's record. That is a guarantee. James Cleverly's record also absolutely going to be brought up as well. I think the only one who might not, obviously, because he wasn't technically in government, he only ever really was on a committee, was Tom Tugendhat. They are designed to start tearing each other into pieces. And you mentioned ideology, but you didn't exactly say what ideology. What are they so fixated on? Why is this ideology such a problem? We've got into that time and time again because they are so ideologically aligned on this. Not only that, but they've got so many blinkers on their faces like this that they cannot see that, the guy next to them also are very ideologically fixed and looking in a completely different direction. um, you know, biggest problem in the Conservative Party. It's going to be so fun to watch. So fun to watch. Let's. Oh, no one, and of course, no one's commented. um, will there have been any comments? Because this came out today. No one commented. No, no one's commented yet. But Ben, Ben, um, you tried to play Peacemaker, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Why? I will tell you why. The Conservative Party, since the election of David Cameron, has been a very, very fractious one. And it has now swallowed the pill that if you fight, you agitate, you challenge your leader, that if you don't like something that is going your way policy wise, then, well, of course, you attack, the Home Secretary, the Parliament, whoever's there. They will attack each and any other as much as they want. It has been so now ingrained into the Conservative Party. Trying to get that out is going to be, if not next to impossible, unless you actually have a leader who tackles that problem head on. But that ain't going to happen because you've got no leader who's willing to tackle that problem head on. But as always, let me know what you think down below. Do you think Ben Houchen's call for peace is is going to work? I'd be very interested to see what you've got to say. But of course, as always, do remember to click on the like, share, and of course the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.